Welcome back, this is Dreadis with another episode in the LA Rams franchise. This is the first week of the off-season. We're coming straight off our Super Bowl win, Super Bowl 59 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I will be honest, I was thinking pretty hard about what to do this season, especially if we win the Super Bowl with Madden 23 approaching pretty soon here. I'll admit, I pre-ordered Madden 23. I'm looking forward to starting my first franchise mode on Madden 23. I don't think I will be continuing this franchise series because we've achieved what I wanted to achieve. We made it to the Super Bowl. We won the Super Bowl. We have achieved everything we wanted to do. If you look at the team ranks, you can see that we are the offensive points per game. We're number 6. Pass yards per game, we're number 1. Rush yards, I'll admit that we didn't do as much there. But I know that on the defense, we're the number 1 all across the board. It's just such a fantastic season that we had. And we are the number 1 team. We're the number 1 in the NFL. So there's not really much to go for, right? At the moment, we could improve, of course, and I do want to take a look at the team, but we just did so well over the course of this season, which is why I'm gonna do an off-season sort of wrap-up episode, sort of moving forward, preparing the team for the future if we were to continue this. Yeah. Taking a look back, the weekly players that got accolades were Lamar Jackson, of course, our quarterback, and George Karlaftis, who did super well. 4 tackles, 1 sack. On the defense, on the AFC side, it's Jabril Peppers with that interception caught. And Trevor Lawrence, obviously, also. It's mostly the quarterbacks, always the offensive players of the week. Taking a look back at this season. With the season recap, we know that the LA Rams won against the Jacksonville Jaguars 28-17, quite convincing. Super Bowl MVP was Lamar Jackson. That is hardly a surprise, although I would have given the title to Michael Mayer because he was super outstanding. But Lamar Jackson is the quarterback, and usually these get the MVPs more often than not. The yearly awards went to the NFL MVP was Alvin Kamara. We already know that. Zach Taylor from the Bengals. We already know that as well. The offensive player of the year was Alvin Kamara. Defensive player was Max Crosby of the Raiders. Offensive rookie for the Chargers, Enrique Farrell. Defensive rookie of the year, Nicholas Oldham for the Saints. Looking at our results this season, we started out in regular season with a lot of wins here. All right, 6 wins, 6-0. That was fantastic. Then we suffered 2 losses against the 49ers and the Vikings. That was a little bit of a hurdle, but then the team really rebounded with 3 wins against the Bears, the 49ers, and the Bills. Then we suffered a loss against the Patriots, and I think that was sort of a turning point again. Then we had the bye week, and then we steamrolled towards the end of the regular season against the Jets, the Cardinals, the Seahawks, the Dolphins, and the Kansas City Chiefs, and that was the biggest surprise to me. In postseason, it was a win against the Giants in the divisional playoff, 52-17. What a shootout. Then a win against the Panthers, 28-24. And that was surprising to me. I didn't expect this, but it was a tough game. We really had to struggle. We went ahead so much to, I think it was 21-7 or something like that. Then they really started catching up, and we won in the end. But it was a tough game. And the game against the Jags was tough as well. It was a nail-biter. It doesn't look like a nail-biter looking at the score, but it was always close. It was always close. And it was just super fun to play that game, I have to be honest. Taking a look at our players and who performed how, I really think that Lamar Jackson had an absolute fantastic season, and it just goes to show that we did the right thing bringing him in. He threw for 5,618 yards, 36 touchdowns. That's his career high, only on par with the 2019 season for the Ravens, but those yards were absolutely insane. The interceptions hurt a bit, to be honest. 31 is massive, but despite those interceptions, we produced those numbers, and despite those interceptions, we produced such a high rating, 99.6. If we hadn't had as many interceptions, I think he would have had a fantastic rating. Longest pass was 75 yards. That was nice. He was only sacked 19 times. That's less than last season. Pass completions, the percentage actually went up to 69%. Would have liked to see a higher percentage, but yeah, it didn't work really. But he was just fantastic. He did so well over the course of this season. I'm super happy with him, super happy that we brought him in. And he really was the difference. We have to be absolutely certain, no disrespect to Tua, but Lamar Jackson was the difference maker. At halfback, we had such a solid core. We had Cam Akers with now a 99 rating. I do expect him to go up to superstar in the next season or at some point in time. He's the number 6 ranked halfback, top 2%. He's only 26. And he will only get more and more well-rounded. At the moment, we're working towards elusive back, of course, but the power back and receiving back, it will be getting upgrades, and he will be getting such a well-rounded player as time progresses. Absolutely fantastic. And yeah, absolutely think that we were absolutely right. And that's the third absolutely in one sentence, so you know that I absolutely mean it. We brought in Kyren Williams and Isaiah Spiller. These two didn't really have too much to do, but they're good prospects. We will be able to develop them further. Yeah, pretty happy with those. At fullback, we had a little bit of back and forth. In the end, we settled for Bryson Hopkins. I think that was the right decision to make. He works well at that position. He's the 12th ranked fullback, looking at his stats with the 76 overall. And if we manage to improve him over time more and more towards utility and blocking, he will get even better. But he's a very serviceable fullback. I'm happy to keep him around because I like him as a player. Didn't want to lose him. Wide receiver, and this is where it's at. We really managed to turn a very, very good wide receiving room that just wasn't clicking as much as I wanted to see it click. Turn it around and really turn it into an elite and a fantastic wide receiving core. We've got Jamar Chase. As we all know, he's an elite wide receiver, the 3rd ranked wide receiver. He's my starter now with the number 10. Fantastic player. So happy he's in here. And he was just so important. Did so much. Did so well. Let's just take a quick look at his stats. If we can see something here. Wasn't as prolific as in his first season for us. But he scored more touchdowns. I would say he was more important this season than last. Because last season a lot of the pressure was on him, and this season it was spread across other players as well. We've got Justin Shorter with a start F trade here, 87 overall. We picked him up in free agency, and despite him being the 17th ranked wide receiver, he is so well rounded. The speed, acceleration, catching, the catch in traffic especially, spectacular catch. Those two stats are really so important for him, and when he gets the ball, he holds onto the ball, and he's such an important player. Tyquan Thornton really burst out onto the scene. He has now gone down again. All right, that's weird. I actually don't know why. After winning a Super Bowl, winning at home, 47 downs played, etc., etc., he had a fantastic season, and yeah, absolutely brilliant. He did so well. I'm super happy with him and his progression. I do expect him to go up at a certain point in time again. For the moment, he of course is a start F trait, but yeah, him and Justin Shorter are just so important for this wide receiving core. Van Jefferson is my veteran in here, looking at his age, and he's a fantastic slot wide receiver, a fantastic backup player to have. I do want Tutu Atwell as my slot wide receiver. He's really come out this season quite well, and we will be training him towards our slot wide receiver in this season, in the upcoming season more and more. Wan'Dale Robinson with a 75 overall and Romeo Whitfield 68 are more the backups. Let's be honest, we've got two fantastic wide receivers with Jamar Chase and Tyquan Thornton, who I value higher than Justin Shorter due to his speed. He has 99 speed, as you can see, acceleration 97, agility 90, and that just makes the world of a difference. He did so well. I actually don't know why he went down, but yeah, never mind. Tight end, fantastic. Michael Mayer, 98 overall. He's a superstar X Factor at the age of 24, the Notre Dame product. And for me, he is one of the most important players that we had this season. Looking at his stats, 1,714 yards. That's more than Jamar Chase had, by the way. He has been so fantastic, so important for us, so consistent. I could use him in so many situations, and he was always coming up big for us. So, such an important player. Breece Hall, who we swapped over from halfback to fullback and now the tight end. I think we're going to leave him at tight end. And finally, Khalil Shakir, which rounds off our fantastic tight end room. At left tackle, we've got Jedi Wills Jr, who's 26 years old, 95 overall. He will only get better over time. Fantastic piece at tackle. Broderick Jones, a very good backup, 23 years old, 78 overall. And he's got a normal depth trait, but I don't mind that. We will be improving him over time, and he will only get better and better. Left guard, we've got Brian Allen and Will Lampkin. I will, of course, use Will Lampkin as my starter here. It just makes sense. He's younger, and he will be progressing past the 80 that Brian Allen has at the moment. Quicker, within 1 year, maybe he will be an equal to Brian Allen. But Brian Allen I will keep around because he's such a good utility player. He can play all the positions on the offensive line, and he's just a fantastic player to have as a backup. At center, Maurice Smith, I'm super happy with him. We drafted him, and he's in the starting lineup in the center, a 90 overall. It was so important getting a tough center into the team to help the quarterback here. Number 6 ranked center, top 5 percentile, fantastic center to have. So happy with him, and he did so well. Vastly important piece in the offensive line. Zach Tom, 27 years old, 80 overall, also a great backup to have. We picked him up in free agency as well. Didn't need him as much, but at 80 overall for a backup, that is fantastic. Right guard, Emil Ekiyor Jr, fantastic player. Again, super happy with him. Number 8 ranked right guard. One of the most important choices, bringing him in to solidify the offensive line. Behind him, Logan Bruss, a 2022 draft pick. And as a backup, he's fantastic as well. He can play so many positions. I was underestimating him a little bit there, but very happy with him. At right tackle, we've got Sam Cosmi and David Schultz. Schultz, of course, will be my starter, and he will remain my starter because he will just be improving so quickly over time. And as soon as I put him at right tackle, the offensive line solidified. That was fantastic. Sam Cosmi is a great backup player to have. Again, such a utility. You can use him all across the offensive line, and he just brings so much quality to each position as a backup, not as a starter, in my opinion. At left edge, we've got George Karlaftis, and that is absolutely brilliant. He went up to Superstar X Factor, the number 4 ranked left end, top 2 percentile. Such a powerful player, such an important player, and he did so well. 46 tackles, solo tackles, 19 assists, 65 tackles total. Tackles for all 16. His stats have only gone up. The QB sacks have gone down a little bit, but I'm not too bothered about that. He's just such an important piece of the defense. Cameron Jordan will be leaving us, but he was a very good utility player, coming in from time to time and adding his experience and his power to the team when it needed it. Kingsley Enagbari will be the future. He's the backup. He's 27 years old, of course, older than Karlaftis, but he's the backup, of course. Devontae Rice, one of the players from the practice squad. Right edge, Aaron Donald, the man, the beast, the legend, of course. He's gone down to superstar, which I think makes sense. Taking a look at his age, you can see that he will be regressing quite roughly over the future, over the next few months, but I'm not bothered about that. I'm happy to have him. He's a 97 overall, and I will be keeping him in there. I have no plans of replacing him. At some point in time, Tyler Batty will be taking over, but that is still some time away. At D-tackle, Lucas Van Ness did a fantastic job after coming in. The star depth trait product from Iowa, 93 overall. He did so well, and I'm so happy that we brought him in. He really changed the dynamic there, and he's become such an important player. And at 23 years old, he will be with us for a very, very long time. Bobby Brown is a fantastic backup to have. Same goes for Corey Durden, although I will not be renewing his contract. I think that one backup D-tackle is more than enough. Left outside linebacker Noah Sewell, we brought him in, the 25-year-old out of Oregon, 88 overall, number 5 ranked left outside linebacker. He will only get better over time, and he's been so important, did such a great job at that position since taking over. And yeah, just super happy with him. Amari Bardo, the backup, a stocky, big player, and whenever Noah Sewell wasn't fit, Amari Bardo was in there. Amari Bardo also in the special teams, in the kick return team, went for quite a few tackles there due to his high speed, looking at the 94 and the 94 acceleration. Mid linebackers, Kenneth Murray Jr., great player, star depth trait, would like to bring him up again, but he's the number 9 ranked middle linebacker, top 4 percentile, fantastic player. We brought him in instead of Bobby Wagner. I'm just so happy that we did that. He's been absolutely crucial. Bobby Wagner would have receded and regressed quite a bit. Ernest Jones still with us, the rookie from the 2021 draft. Very happy with him. He's a backup mid linebacker. Who I'm very happy with is our choice pick from the last draft. That's Doug Weiner. And he has been absolutely fantastic. He's a first round pick from the 2024 draft, and he will only be getting better. He did so well next to Kenneth Murray Jr. Can't even begin to tell you. Another backup is Nick Bonito, also a free agency pickup from our first year actually. Right outside linebacker Anthony Hines III did so well, 10th ranked right outside linebacker. He's been with us since the beginning. I'm very happy about that, and yeah, he will only get better over time with a star depth trait. Behind him, Rashard Blackburn, same thing. He's a good backup to have. I have no issues there. At corner, Jalen Ramsey still there, the best cornerback in my eyes, in my opinion. At 30, he will be regressing at some point in time, but he's still the number 3rd ranked, so no need to change anything there. CJ Henderson, of course, a prospect for the future at 26 years old. He still has quite some time and quite some progression in him, so he will only get better and take over as CB1 from Jalen Ramsey if he gets too old. We've got David Long, we've got Taylor Rapp, we've got Darian Kendrick. Very good prospects for the future, a very solid and stacked cornerback room. Free safeties, we've got Terrell Burgess, again a player who was with us since the beginning. I'm so happy at making him my free safety number 1, 16th ranked free safety, top 9%, 91 overall. He did so well over the course of this franchise career mode. Very happy with him, and he will only get better and improve into the high 90s, I'm sure of that. We've got Quentin Lake and Brian Cook as backup free safeties here in case of an injury. Very happy with them. They're solid and very, very good. At strong safety, Jordan Fuller, been with us since the start, 27 years old, out of Ohio State, at an 89 now. Next season, he will be pushing into the 90s, and he will only get better and better. Super happy with him. He did such a great job. Antoine Brooks Jr. also there whenever needed. Great backup to have. A kicker was Tyler Bass. We brought him in, and he did his job quite well. Punter was Matt Areza. He was really fantastic. And apart from that, I just have to say I'm super happy with how this team performed. They did so well over the course of this season. I always say I don't think it's quality when you just beat everybody. I think it's quality when you get beaten but you stand up again. And this is what this team did, and that is what counts for me. And we will be continuing now towards re-signing the players, the free agency, of course. Let's see if we can push some more quality into the team. Let's see if we make some moves, if we trade some players. And basically, I will be ending this episode with the team set up for the next season, ready to repeat a Super Bowl run. Okay, it's the time to renegotiate with the players. The mock draft 3 is in, and the retirements as well. Looking at the players that we have still open to negotiate, we will not be offering a contract to Cameron Jordan, who is regressing now. He's an 81 overall. He was a very good utility player and fantastic addition to the team. Corey Durden is the 3rd backup D-tackle. Will not be renegotiating with him. Just don't see the point there. So we're going to let them go. We will take a look at the retirements, though. Is there anybody of note? We've got Levante David is retiring, JC Treader is retiring, Rodney Hudson, who else? Akeem Hicks maybe, Matt Prater, Greg Zerline, Fletcher Cox for the Eagles. He was a free agent. Von Miller is retiring. He was with the Buffalo Bills up until the end. We actually played them and felt him tackling us. And apart from that, we're looking through the names here. If there's anybody that we encountered during our franchise, of course, Darius Slay Jr., one of the better corner players. Who else is there? Gabe Jackson, Dinigo Autry, William Golston, Andy Dalton finally retiring, AJ Bowie, and I don't see Nick Bellore is there, Brian Poole, Dante Hightower, he was always in the mix there, Nick Foles, the Super Bowl hero for the Eagles, and apart from that, nobody of note retiring. So no retirees from the Rams, no negotiations. The mock draft is actually not something that we're going to be looking at. We don't have any high draft picks anyways. So we will be heading into next week, taking a look at the free agency class of 2024. We have a salary cap of 3.66 mil that we can spend. Taking a quick look at our roster and the team salaries. I'm going to go by position. And again, always keeping in mind, preparing the team for the future. I think for the moment we can work with this cap because we have all of the critical positions are set, more or less long-term contracts, as you can see. Bryson Hopkins is a long-term deal. Jamar Chase will be up for negotiation coming the next season, so we will have to think about this. But then again, when we enter next year, we will have a lot of salary cap available again. His deal wasn't as crazy, to be honest. No, I actually see he still has a deal for 2025, which is the season that we're entering. Apart from then, after that, we will have to negotiate a new deal. Out of all these players, we can let Whitfield go. I don't see the point in holding on to him. He's not adding to the cap. But apart from that, also nothing to be done here. What about the tight ends? Everybody here is settled. We will be offering Michael Mayer a new deal, of course, coming the next season. He will be requiring a new deal. That might be tricky, but he's one of the players that will be re-signed. No questions asked. Breece Hall, Khalil Shakir. Khalil Shakir might be a player that we could let go if need be. At the left tackle position, I've got Jedi Wills long-term deal locked down. We've locked down Brian Allen. We've locked down Will Lampkin, who will be a cheaper addition once we renegotiate. Same going for Maurice Smith. He's not that highly expensive. 1 year remaining. What about the right guard position? Emil Ekiyor, also a new contract needed here. Logan Bruss is there. So in case we cannot re-sign players, we still have them for the full next season. So the next season is definitely settled. David Schultz, Sam Cosmi. Sam Cosmi might be a player that we could let go if we really want to do that. George Karlaftis locked down long-term, and Egbari and Rice is also a player that we will let go. He just, we don't need him. Right edge, Aaron Donald. He still has a pretty long-term deal for the next 2 seasons. Batty will also need a new deal come the end of the next season. Lucas Van Ness. So quite a few critical players on defense will be needing new contracts, but I don't see a problem with that because once the next season comes around, we will not be having any problems there. The mid linebackers are all set. Anthony Hines is set. He's my starter. Blackburn is there. Looking at Jalen Ramsey, of course, he will be one of the critical players. Same goes for Aaron Donald, I think. No, we actually re-signed him, if I remember it correctly. Yeah, so Ramsey is the player that we will have to negotiate. Free safeties are all locked down. Same goes for the strong safeties, the kicker and the punter as well. So basically, if we look at all of the players, and if we sort it by the remaining years, then we see that there are quite a few players, especially looking at Jamar Chase, Jalen Ramsey, Michael Mayer, Ekiyor, Sewell, Lucas Finesse, of course. These are players that we direly need to resign, but I doubt that they will be too expensive. The superstar X factors like Mayer, Ramsey, Chase, those will be expensive. I'm pretty sure of that. But then again, those are, yeah, not even worth the question if we should re-sign them. Taking a look at the free agents that are available in this year, Kyle Pitts is available, but of course unaffordable, but we don't need him because we have a fantastic tight end in Michael Mayer. Joe Mixon is available, but we don't need him because we have a younger, equally talented and equally rated halfback in Cam Akers. Zach Martin at right guard is available, but he's too old for me actually. Emil Ekiyor with 24 years of age is fantastic. DeAndre Hopkins, we don't need him. Aaron Jones, don't need him. Harrison Butker, we don't need him. Nick Bolton would be an interesting player to have, of course, but first of all, it's going to be a bidding battle. Second of all, we have fantastic players there, Kenneth Murray Jr. and Doug Weiner. The wide receiver, Michael Thomas, we don't need him. Jack Fox, David Bakhtiari. To be honest, there's hardly anybody here that I would really want to bring in. Maybe Rondell Moore would be an option. Keenan Allen, Greg Newsom would be interesting, of course. Trey Sermon at halfback, but we don't need him. Travis Etienne at halfback, Evan McPherson. So just looking through these, you can quickly tell that we have very, very good players set up at each of these positions. Could we improve at some places? Possibly, but we don't have to. We certainly will not be going after any of these. We could let it run out and then just pick up the dregs if we want to do that, but to be honest, I'm not really too interested in doing that. So yeah, nobody on the free agents pool that we would bring in to really improve the team. All right, we've got decisions regarding the fifth year options, so let's go for that. Digging through some of the salary data for the next few seasons. Had a question about Michael Mayer to extend his contract next off season, but I don't know if it's worthwhile. Yeah, well, you know what, we do want to keep him around. Let's pick up the 50-year option so we don't have to negotiate with him. That is awesome. At least not next year. Do we have some more 50-year options? Yes, I do think so. All right, Noah Sewell's deal. Yeah, barely on the field. The assistant general manager should be fired, I think, because that just doesn't make any sense. But definitely picking up those 50-year options because he was excellent. All right, let's see. What about the private workouts? Let's choose our favorites, of course. So let's select him, and then we will select one more player, but the top 5, we're not going to be picking those anyways. So we might as well go with, let's see, left tackle, right guard. Let's go with Keenan Ragland here. Let's just see what happens. Because basically we don't need anyone for the next season, but we might need some players for the season afterwards. Time for a quick review of the rookies that we signed. You can see the overalls, and let me just put it that way. There's a little bit of a freak in there, all right? But we're just going to leave it at that. We're going to go through this round by round. Our first pick was JP Beckham, right edge player. Just felt like we could use a little bit more depth at that position, although we have depth, ample depth everywhere. But the acceleration, speed, strength, and tackle are something to build upon. So that is okay. One player is going straight to the practice squad. Then we've got Taylor Turbin, a wide receiver, a player that I think we might actually add to our starting squad. He's got high speed, acceleration, catching is good, catching traffic, spectacular catch, agility and jumping. He's a 70 overall already. and actually not looking too bad out of Florida A&M. Very interesting. And then we've got Anthony Bayer, who, to be honest, is a bit of a freak because he's a 91 overall, a hidden depth trait, right outside linebacker. Just look at those stats. Out of the box, he is the number 7 ranked right outside linebacker, and he's going to be going straight into the squad. I mean, I don't know what exactly happened here, but this is absolutely unheard of. I've never had this happen. I just picked him because he was huge and the weight was there, and he just looked like a useful pick at the linebacker position. But that is absolute insanity. He's going straight into the starting squad. That's awesome. George Leach, 63 overall, left tackle, high strength. That was what motivated me to pick him. The rest can be developed. He's a player for the practice squad. Sean Ballard, same thing, 62 overall with the buff already at 64, high strength, high tackle, high acceleration at D tackle, will be developed further. Terrence Lindsay, another player for the practice squad, the 58 overall. Don't think he'll be getting too much play time, but we will develop him. Why not? Speed, acceleration, agility, jumping is there. Finally, Victor Thomas, 63 overall, rookie out of Southern Miss. He's a left edge player, acceleration, strength, and tackle. Yeah, not much more to add, but we had super success here with Anthony Bayer. I'm pretty astonished, to be honest. So let's fix the squad and then take a look at what it's going to look like. All right, and before we start into the new season, or before we would start into the new season, it's preseason, of course. We're going to take a final look at the setup of the roster after this off-season. Hardly anything will have changed, of course. We were already expecting that because the setup was just very good. There's nothing more to add to the offensive line, to be honest. I'm super happy with this. Michael Mayer is the tight interior, the 95 overall on offense. Tyquan Thornton did go down to the start depth again. Don't really know why, because I think he did very well. But him and Shorter will be switching back and forth for this position. Jamar Chase, of course, wide receiver 1. Lamar Jackson, the quarterback. Bryson Hopkins, fullback. Cam Akers, the halfback. And looking at defense, we only have one change. We've got Anthony Bayer, straight from the draft. I don't know what's going on with this guy, but yeah, absolutely fantastic. We will be giving him a different number later on, but it's just a formality now. Anthony Hines will be slotting in behind him. We might even trade Anthony Hines at some point during the season, because we have a player here that's higher rated and who will, of course, be having a star depth trait at a minimum. Doug Weiner, Kenneth Murray Jr., Noah Sewell, Jordan Fuller, and here Terrell Burgess. The corner situation is set well with Jalen Ramsey and CJ Henderson. We've got Aaron Donald on the left-hand side, Lucas Van Ness at D-tackle, George Karlaftis at the left edge position. Special teams are set, and the specialists are decided as well. Slot wide receiver, I would actually put Tutu Atwell here still. I want to see him develop into the slot wide receiver. He did very well last season. And apart from that, there's nothing more to add. What would happen here if we would move forward? Maybe I'll go back and just sim a full season, see what happens. But I will be cutting the episode now. We have prepared the team. We've prepared the staff. The staff is fully upgraded. The team is fully upgraded. We finished last season as the #1 overall team. We won the Super Bowl, and now it's time to let this team move forward on its own. And yeah, just watch them and watch what happens. I had a lot of fun in this franchise series. I hope you did as well. If you have ideas for future franchise series, then please just drop them. I will, of course, be continuing making content here for Madden 23. Can't really wait to get going there. Haven't yet decided on the team. There's quite a few on the board that I would go with. But for now, there's really not much more to say than thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had a nice time following along with the LA Rams, leading them from, I wouldn't say from the bottom, but from a rocky path to the promised land of winning a Super Bowl. If you did, drop me a like, subscribe to the channel. That helps me so much. And as always, thank you for watching, and see you next time.